See, once again, thank you so much for keeping it with us, and I welcome you to this brief chat about a symposium that is going to be held tomorrow and will be live on UBC TV. That is the Agroecology 3rd National Symposium, which will be held tomorrow, and it will be live on UBC TV. We want to know a little of what agroecology is and what the symposium will have as content. I'm joined by a gentleman here, Mr. Ijuka Joshua. He's the Programs Manager, Sustainable Farming Systems. You're most welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, viewers.
Yes. Tell us briefly about agroecology. Somebody watching us needs to know what exactly it is.
Thank you very much. I'll try to put it in simple language. Agroecology, we're looking at designing farming systems to mimic nature.
Okay.
You know, to design farming systems in a way that we can increase production and productivity of our land, and at the same time also be able to be resilient to climate change, and to be able also to factor in the social aspects in terms of people's diets, issues of nutrition, and also to be able to integrate both the scientific knowledge and the indigenous knowledge.
Okay. Yes. How does it come about? Do we lack all of those components within nature?
Yes, you know, oftentimes, you know, agriculture is dependent on nature. So it's about being more careful to see that as we design our farming systems, we remain in harmony with nature. So we work with nature, not against it. So that's why agroecology comes in, to see how do we produce while also conserving the environment and also meeting the other social and economic needs of the farmers and society in general.
So how is it designed? Because you said it's designed, but with the target of mimicking nature. Yes. How is it designed?
Well, there are principles in agroecology. And through these principles, you know, looking at issues of diversity, issues of efficiency in the system, how to ensure that we can recycle items in the system, because we believe that actually in agroecology there is no waste. Everything depends on another, and everything can be used to be a resource in another way. So that way you increase efficiency, but also you increase resilience of the system to a point that ultimately you find yourself you don't have to, you know, depend on external inputs, because the system has grown to a level where it is self-sustaining, self-regulating, and and increasingly more productive and resilient.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, so what is its role in the boost of agriculture, in the agriculture sector? How useful? What is the role of agroecology?
Yes. As you know, right now we are really faced with, I would say, triple threat. We have to feed a growing population, so we need to see how we increase production and productivity. But at the same time, we are faced with high rate of degradation. Land degradation, soil degradation, which is affecting, of course, productivity.
Definitely.
And then also we have climate change and loss of biodiversity. So agroecology comes in really as the binding ingredient. It's like the nexus of how we can address all these issues. Because through agroecology, we work with the ecosystem, with nature, and to enable it to provide more ecosystem services. And these are the provisioning, the regulating, the supporting services, where we can be able to depend more on nature, which can also help to, like, for example, regulate the cycles, regulate the nutrient flows in the soil, so the crops are able to absorb more nutrients better. The livestock can be able to be supported in the same system. And so with the diversity of all this, it means that we are more resilient, because in case of a shock, let's say climate change or any other shock, you don't have to depend on one thing. You have many things you can depend on. So it comes in at such a time where we need to work on the nutrition, household nutrition, also looking at the income needs, but also looking at the broader picture.
Okay, yes. That is now actually the broader picture, like you said.
Yes.
I want you to bring us, to give it a picture that is Ugandan.
Yes.
I want us to talk about to a farmer down in Gulu, very far in Kabale, that one deep in Teso. Yeah. What is the role of agroecology in boosting what he or she is doing?
Now, one of the role...
I want the Ugandan picture now.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes.
But the role of agroecology, one, is supporting the farmer to understand what they have on the farm and see how they can use them optimally, and at the same time also ensure that they are conserved for the future generation. So, that's the issue, because we are not devoid of resources. We have so many resources. The question is, how do we increase the efficiency of these resources to give us the needs, to serve all the needs that we have? For example, if you have maybe land that has trees, maybe you're already having crops, you have some bit of livestock, and also some of these wild things. How do we work with, for example, with what is in place, without necessarily having to replace it, for example, cutting down the trees, using so much maybe synthetic inputs which can be able to harm the biodiversity? How do you work with all that to see that you increase productivity, not just of a single element, say a crop, but see how can you, for example, add value to the trees? Maybe you can do some beekeeping, you know, you can plant some climbing yams or passion fruits on those trees, and you keep those trees on the farm to be able to help in regulating issues of the climate, the microclimate. You can also be able to diversify on the crops that you're growing, add more livestock, right from the small ones to the big ones, so you can be able to continuously have a dependency on some of these of the different inputs that you have. So agroecology comes in to help you to design a system where all these can build, can work with one another. Okay. Where you can have that, let me say, the synergies in all these elements. They can support one another. What is coming from the crops, the residues can be fed to the animals, the manures can be fed to the soil, and also some of the manures can maybe be fed to the fish or the poultry when it is processed. So through all that, you have a more efficient system that can meet both the economic needs, but also the food security needs.
So for how long have we had agroecology in Uganda?
Well, agroecology generally is not a new discipline. It has been around for, I would say, for many years. We have institutions who are offering agroecology up to a master's level, for example. Personally, I'm a former student of a master's degree in agroecology from Uganda Matters University. So that shows you that agroecology has been around. But for the last 10 or so years, there has been more emphasis on how do we work towards scaling up agroecology.
Because I wanted to know,
yes,
if we've been having it,
yes,
how come we have a lot of gaps in our agricultural system?
Well, we've been having it, but you see, it is also where have we been putting the emphasis. Now, we're trying to shed more light on this agroecology as a discipline, so that it can be mainstreamed in the extension services, more in research and development for the National Agricultural Research Systems. So we can see more investment in research for agroecology. We can get to see more benefits, for that matter. We want to see agroecology being mainstreamed in the National Agriculture Extension System, you know, to see more and more of the farmers being exposed to this knowledge. We'd like to see more institutions taking it up at higher level or even at undergraduate level. So all these issues, we believe that they are going to help us very much to help in the scaling up of agroecology, both in Uganda and at large.
What is the view of those that believe in productivity that is thoroughly natural when it comes to agroecology? Have you listened to their view, and what is it?
Well, nature-based production, in my view, is okay. Is okay, and I think that is, to me, that is where we ultimately trying to reach, where agriculture and nature cannot be so much separated, where nature can support productivity. And this is a long way to go, because many times we have worked against nature, and now many people are trying to see how do we work with nature, how do we work on seeing that we feed the soil, and then the soil feeds the crop, rather than us feeding the crops at the expense of the soil. So some of these things, I think it is, for me, it is a process of transformation. We are looking at how do you transition from conventional agriculture to, for example, to agroecology, to a fully agroecological system. The first thing you need to do is you have to increase efficiency. If you're using fertilizers, if you're using all these external inputs, how do we ensure that we are using less and less while giving more and more, while getting more and more out of it? So efficient technologies really come in. And then after that, we look into substitution. How do we start substituting the synthetic inputs to bring on board more of the external input, and more of the ecologically sound, more of the nature-based inputs in the system? And then as you do that, you're redesigning a system to be more self-regulating, to be more self-sustaining. Okay. You know? So more increasingly, you end up with a system that doesn't have to depend on more of the external inputs. So that is, it keeps getting agroecological. You cannot wake up one day and you're conventional, and the next day you're agroecological. It's more of a system, and these are the things we need to teach people more and more, and want to expose people more and more.
Let us talk about the symposium.
Yes.
This is the third national symposium for stakeholders.
Yes.
When they say third, what exactly do they mean? Have we only had 2 previous ones?
Yes, after the second International Agroecology Symposium that was held in Rome by the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, as Pelham Uganda, we took it upon ourselves to see how we can engage stakeholders in Uganda to start organizing national level debate on agroecology. So in 2019, we organized the first National Agroecology Actors Symposium. So this will be the third Agroecology Symposium.
What is the content of discussion in the symposium?
Well,
are there upgrades of this system?
Yes.
What do you discuss every year? Is it the same kind of idea, or there are discussions of different things that come in?
Well, every year we pick on a topical issue that is very relevant for agroecology and food systems, and then we're trying to really internalize what is the role of agroecology in this context. For this particular year, we're looking at, of course, food systems transformation. There's been a lot of debate in terms of the UN Food Systems Summit, which has recently been held. And we had a lot of discussions prior to this, right, at the national level. And now we want to see how do we transform food systems to be more sustainable, to be more resilient through agroecology. So the debates are going to be looking at that. One, trying to understand which transformation is needed from the broader perspective. What challenges does the current agricultural food system first and that we need to address, and then we see what could be the solutions that agroecology has to offer. I've already told you we are faced with low productivity, and in some cases productivity is not evenly. In some places there is surplus, in some places there is deficiency. We are faced with a high rate of growing population. We are faced with changing consumer patterns, coupled with a lot of food waste. We are faced with climate change. We are faced with loss of biodiversity. And so all these issues have to be addressed in the food systems debate. So then what is the role of agroecology in terms of addressing those challenges that we have on those multiple fronts from a systems perspective?
Okay. So this year you're having one tomorrow.
Yes. And
give us a picture of what is going to happen tomorrow, where you will be, and how long it will take.
Well, the event is going to be a one-day event. It's going to be at Silver Springs Hotel. It's by invitation. The physical participation is going to be by invitation for obvious reasons, the current times we are living in. But also the event, as you rightly put, will be streaming live on the national broadcast television, UBC, and this is to give an opportunity for as many people as possible all over the country and beyond to be part of the event. We are also having, of course, it will be on different social media platforms, YouTube. Of course, there's direct participation on Zoom. We'll be sharing the links, and I'm sure also probably through the national television we'll be sharing these links for people to participate and engage in the debate.
When you say participation, what do you exactly mean?
Well, there are going to be several events. Of course, we're going to have keynote discussions, presentations from the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. We're going to have high-level panel of experts from agroecology experts, both nationally and internationally, to be able to really dissect this issue of agroecology. We're going to have the agroecology actors from, we're working with the Stambik Business Incubator with support from the French Embassy, who are also going to support us in trying to bring in the business perspective, the agribusiness perspective in this whole debate. So there is a lot of there are going to be several side sessions. There's going to be a lot of discussion, and they're going to be both physical, but mostly also going to be virtual. So there's going to be breakaway sessions. There's also going to be exhibitions, exhibitions of the different, showcasing of different posters of the different agroecological marketing systems, because this year we'll be launching the Agroecology Market Systems Expo, which is going to be a platform for us to showcase the different agroecological innovations and market systems that can work to transform the lives of the smallholder farmers.
Okay, briefly as we wind up, what should we expect as a country, as farmers, after your symposium, getting new knowledge and discussions? What should be our expectation of you?
Well, we are working closely with the Ministry of Agriculture. We are trying to develop a national strategy for scaling up agroecology. And part of this discussion is going to dive deeper in that. We're going to have an expert team meeting where we'll be able to discuss the different, to develop a roadmap for developing this strategy, and then we shall have a way of consultation throughout the country to get input from different kinds of people, to give input in this process, to see that by the end of, as fast as possible, we have a framework that we can work with to scale up agroecology in Uganda.
Thank you so much, Joshua Aijuka, the Programs Manager, Sustainable Farming Solutions. They will hold the Agroecology third symposium tomorrow at Silver Springs Hotel, and it will be live on UBC TV from 11 a.m. to, is it from 9 a.m.?
From 9 a.m.
From 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. So
to 5 p.m. Absolutely.
Exactly. If you cannot be there live, of course, UBC TV will give it to you. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Michael Jordan Lukoma. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hotel, Kampala, under the theme Transforming Uganda's Food Systems Through Agroecology. The event will be live on UBC TV from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and streamed live on UBC YouTube channel and Pelham Uganda's social media platforms.